So
It's
anyway,
almost, yeah,
Texas.
it's almost unlikely as Tesla turning a profit. But guess what, guys? Guess what?
What?
They did it. They turned a profit in the last quarter, and we have some numbers now from the earnings call. Hopefully, is that screen look okay? Can you guys see that all
Yeah.
right? All right, so we've got some charts here that I created.
So
Yeah,
that's
but
a
look at all those
full-
years before this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that is a
what we're-
full
yeah.
year of profitability now, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at on the screen for the folks just listening is a little bar chart here, a history, going back to, I think, the beginning of Tesla being a public company, 2010 Q1. Look at that, man. Where we're showing net income, which is also commonly referred to as profit. And this is how much money you made minus all the things that you had to pay for to make that money. Here's what you're left over with, right? There also is another one after this called EBITDA, but whatever, this boring financial stuff. So last quarter in Q2 of 2020, Tesla posted a net income of $104 million. So that's a profit of $104 million. That is a 550% increase from Q1, where they did post a profit of $16 million, although it was, just barely you squeak that one out. And then the previous two quarters were $105 million in profit and then $143 million in profit going back to 2019 Q3. So 4 consecutive quarters of profit for a fledgling automaker, I'll call them, in terms of the number of cars they produce and the price point and all that stuff and the niche that they're in. And even the fact that they don't have like a full lineup, right? Like they aren't selling a truck yet. They, have all these things, or I mean, they're selling it, they're not delivering it. But yeah, I mean, these past 4 quarters profit, and then they had 2 negative quarters prior to that, and then the 2 quarters prior to that, massive profit. So what is that? 6 out of the last 8 quarters profitable. And that's, I think right now, given the entire auto industry has been on a major downswing, this is tremendous. I think this is a huge success, one that most people would have never seen coming or really never predicted, except for, maybe Elon and a few other folks.
And weren't they shut down for like half of Q2? Like, weren't they only
A
producing
month.
cars for like half?
Yeah, and so the question is how'd they do it, right? Well, part of it, a big part of it was China, because China was shut down prior to this when they had just barely started production. And then so when they came back online full force, really just cranking out cars. The incentives in China are very beneficial to buying a Tesla versus other cars. It's even cheaper, I believe, than say a BMW or Mercedes or another kind of high-end luxury vehicle that's not electric out there. And that's before the incentives and everything. So, yeah, I mean, China has really helped propel them. I think they're going to kind of skyrocket here. Elon did say on the call that despite the month of being shut down, they still aim to produce or to deliver 500,000 cars this year, which would be a huge amount. They delivered over 90,000 last quarter alone.
Wow.
And so with the factory back online, with China hitting on all cylinders, I mean, things are just really, really looking up for them right now.
And I want to point out just something for like accounting wise and just the way you're looking at this history now, it's quite obvious that those other previous profit quarters, like way back in like 2016 and 2013 or whatever, those were clearly times in the company where they're right about to just totally lose their shirt, and the investors force them to show us you can make a profit instead of reinvesting, And in the grand scheme of history, if they just trusted, like if the investors and the boards and all the people that are screaming like, we just need to see you can make a profit, like if they just trusted that they could continually invest and grow the company, we'd probably be 2, 3, 4 quarters ahead now, because they didn't have to kind of halt their growth. Because that's the thing, is they've been growing like a weed, and the growth is what's more important to me in anything. Like I've always said this about, when people are working on a new YouTube channel or something, it's like, don't worry about what you're doing right now or what's how much money or how much whatever views. Worry about the growth and make investments and changes to grow. That's what's more important than, seeing success once or twice, and you can tell that, especially 2017, 2018, as they're ramping up Model 3 production, just investing every dime they had to make the Model 3 out there. And then you can see where they're building Gigafactory Shanghai, and reinvesting. that's what matters in the long run. Like in the long run, you got to catch up and accelerate ahead of your competition. And it's just, you can clearly see that now that we're seeing this all laid out, like from the whole history. It's fascinating, actually.
So let me sort of play devil's advocate and also just ask a really dumb question. I was joking earlier. What about all those quarters before where they were? But I look at this and I think, don't they have a lot of debt though?
Sure. Yeah, but that's not all right. Okay, so fair point. They're not overall profitable since their beginning, but that's kind of not the point. The point is they are now making a profit from operations, and so that means kind of this trend will continue. To the extent that they want it to, honestly, because they still have a gigafactory in Berlin to build. Now the one in Texas. I assume we're going to see a couple more announced maybe by the end of the year. All those things require huge investments. But to your point, Tim, I mean, yeah, like to actually make a total profit overall, I think is a different animal, because you're always going to be growing and you're always going to be spending money on to grow. And so, like a GM or somebody like that, like they should be profitable at this point, right? Because they already have a gazillion factories and been doing it for 100 years. But Tesla is still so early in their company's history. I mean,
well, you also have to look at some of those debts as assets too. Like they spent $2 billion, but they own a $2 billion factory. That is still worth money. It's not like they're just totally sunk costs of pure operations and stuff. So if you take and include all the assets, they're probably a lot closer to a net, zero basically, and not just a huge negative.
What you're saying is totally right. These points of that they made profits going back to the first time they were profitable in 2013. This was the Model S, essentially. All this money, all this loss here, because they stopped selling the Roadster right around, I think it was 2010, and then basically weren't selling anything until the Model S came out in 2012, and then bam, there's a little profit for you. And then, okay, let's make the Model X. Okay, we're selling Model S now, but we're still developing and building the Model X. Boom, Model X comes out 2016. All right, cool. Model 3 hits. All right, even bigger investment, way more money. Bam, massive profit in 2018 Q3. And remember, 2018 was when the Model 3 really started to get delivered.
Yeah, that's when Joe and I took deliveries.
Yeah, so this is when they really started to hit volume, scale of deliveries. Fast forward, oh crap, we need to ship the Model 3 to Europe. So we have to actually buy and build out all the supply chain stuff to get things over to Europe. Huge loss. And then since then, even with the Model Y being developed and everything, they've been able to show a profit. Yeah. So in terms of the solvency of the business, I believe they're over $8 billion in cash right now in the bank account. And obviously the market cap of the company with their stock price is, I don't even know, like 200 billion, or I forget, like a tremendous amount. Like they're far, I think they even passed Exxon as in the energy space. So it's insane. Yeah, but it's a fair point, Joe. In terms of actually making money versus assets on the book, it's a different thing, right? So your balance sheet versus this one trend of one metric is a different story. So there's a lot more to it, I guess. Now, revenue was up as well by 0.85%. So I would probably call that flat. But, still able to show a profit. So that's all good. Revenue here obviously impacted greatly by coronavirus with the reduction in, the shutdowns in China and in the U.S. And then gross profit overall, kind of mirrors that essentially, but still up, but just under 3% increase in gross profit from the previous quarter, I should add. All these percentage changes I have listed here on the screen are from the previous quarter, not from the previous year. So some good financials, some good numbers. Hopefully this display made sense. I just kind of whipped it together for you.
Yeah, thanks, Jerk. Thanks for these beautiful graphics.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this clip from our show. If that's just not enough for you and you want to watch the full episode, you can go to olfpod.com/YT.
And if you want more from us, you can consider becoming a Patreon member. You'll get early access to episodes. You can join our awesome community. You can actually watch us record live and get your name in the credits by going to olfpod.com/Patreon.
So thanks everyone for watching. Check back every Friday for new clips here and new episodes on the main channel.
Thanks, everybody.